Okay, so one of the best stories in sports this year, I believe, is the story of the Detroit Lions. And this past Sunday, Christmas Eve, they won their division for the first time since 1993. And it was actually their first time winning the NFC North. When they won the division in 1993, the Lions were in the NFC Central. That is a long time, and it was honestly it was very sentimental that it happened on Christmas Eve. It was a Christmas gift to the Lions fans, and arguably there's no fan base in the NFL that's more deserving of that title. They've waited so long, and I'll get to that. But I want to reverse back to the process that got the Lions there. So it all started back in 2021 when Detroit introduced Dan Campbell as its head coach. And while a lot of people supported the move and embraced Dan Campbell and his outgoing personality, he was met with a lot of criticism and scrutiny because of his boisterous style, that biting the kneecap speech, that infamous speech. I loved it. He really showcased his personality, but some people didn't take too well to it. But Dan Campbell always had a vision for the Lions. From day one, he saw this team growing, developing into what it is now. Not only a playoff team, but a team that's competitive for winning a Super Bowl. He always believed that. He believed that the day he took the podium. And after the first season, when the Lions went 3-13, he still believed it. Because it takes time. Like I've said in some of my past videos, we live in a microwave society where we expect results immediately. These things take time. But Dan Campbell always had that vision, and he always prioritized building a culture. It was culture over everything. It's not about signing big-name guys. It's about bringing guys that are the right fit and getting them to blend and fuse together seamlessly so that there's cohesion. That's what the Lions has always been about. And it's about having a certain character type. Toughness. Grit. It's what the city of Detroit is about. It's a blue-collar city. And Dan Campbell always wanted his team to embody that same spirit of Detroit. So subsequently, Dan Campbell was always very consistent with his vision. He never wavered from it. Even during times in his second year where people were starting to call for his head because of play calls that he made during games, he still stayed consistent with his vision for the Lions. And that's what's so admirable about this process of the ascent of the Lions. The Lions have enjoyed incremental growth over the past 3 years. In 2021, like I said, they went 3-13. You could expect that head coach's first year. 2022, they went 9-8, and right now, they're 11-4 so far. The Detroit Lions winning 11 games. It's quite a sight to see. I love it. I love seeing a team rebound like this. But how exactly did they do this? From a front office standpoint, the Lions had no problem snagging Jared Goff from the Rams in that Matt Stafford trade. The Rams got Matt Stafford. The Lions got Jared Goff. At the time, the way that the media portrayed it was that, the Rams was giving their dirty laundry and Jared Goff to the Lions, and he'll decline, eventually become a backup, fade his way out of the league while Matt Stafford will go in a Super Bowl. It's not what happened. It's not at all what happened. Jared Goff always had potential. He always had promise. He's always been an above-average quarterback. He elevated the team around him a lot in the Rams. Even though they had a very talented offensive roster when Jared Goff was there, he still had an ability to elevate the guys around him. And from a leadership and a playing standpoint. And the Lions always knew that. That's why they took the chance on him. They weren't just taking him as part of the trade. They knew they had something to work with. And it's really paid dividends. Drafting. The Lions have nailed the draft over these past several years. 2022, Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams, hit. 2023, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, hit. Some of the guys that the Lions have signed and re-signed, Alex Anzalone, John Kaminsky, love these guys, the way that they fit into the defense. There's chemistry. There's chemistry there. The collective energy between the guys on this team is simply phenomenal. They play as a unit on both sides of the football. But it's that foundation. You'll have teams that go out and sign stars and expect it to all come together. And then you'll have teams that reverse that process. They build a foundation. They build a culture. They say what it's going to be about. and then they go out and acquire and draft guys that fit that culture and get them to mold together. That is what the Detroit Lions have done here. I don't think there's a team in the NFL right now that plays more collectively, or at least in the NFC, that plays more collectively and cohesively than the Detroit Lions. They are a pleasure to watch every week. Sometimes they'll get themselves into scary situations, like in that Vikings game and the Chargers game. They'll make your heart race. But they pull it off. The way that they come together. They're just a band of brothers. And it's a result of that foundation that Dan Campbell has been able to build from day one. You start with a foundation, and you build upon that. This team has stayed true to that vision. They embody the personality of Detroit. They're gritty. They're chippy. They're physical. They'll beat you any way they have to. They'll bite a kneecap off in the process, as Dan Campbell says. But they're going to get that W. And I love the confidence. Love the swagger that they play with. They not only embody the spirit of Detroit, but they embody the personality of Dan Campbell, their head coach. And I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, congratulations to the city of Detroit for being able to watch this team win a division championship. They are not done yet. They're not done yet. The speech, the celebration in the locker room was awesome, but they are not done yet. There's a lot more work to be done. You've got to win a playoff game. You've got to win another playoff game. You got to win another playoff game. You got to win the Super Bowl. There's more to be done. But my oh my, is a huge stepping stone for the Lions and for a fan base that has endured year after year after year of misery and just looking for a light at the end of the tunnel, feeling desperate. How many more years can I be a fan of this team? How many more years can I go through this? How many more years can I tolerate this misery? Well, Lions fans, your reward for being loyal and sticking by your team no matter what has paid off, as you now enjoy a division championship. And especially on Christmas Eve, Christmas came early for those Lions fans. So, Merry Christmas, Detroit, and enjoy this one, and enjoy the journey as the Lions go into the playoffs this year as division champions. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to the Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.